School is useless. I would have had so much time for self-improvement if I wouldn't have to go there. That's what I thought when I was your age too. But now after I graduated, I realized that I was wrong. School is the perfect environment for self-improvement if used correctly. Any goals you want to achieve, whether it's friends, money, girls, education, physique, anything is easier to achieve while you are still in school. In fact, using school strategically will give you an unbelievable advantage after you graduate. So let's talk about what you need to do exactly. And by the end of this video, I'll tell you about the biggest disadvantage of school, how it harms you the most, and how to mitigate this effect. Hi, my name's Mike, and you're on my personal self-improvement channel. First, in order to understand how school can help you, you need to know the difference between soft skills and hard skills and what those are. Even if you already know, here is a recap for you. Hard skills are measurable skills in a specific area, something like video editing or playing a guitar. Soft skills, on the other hand, are much more interesting and frankly much more important. They include stuff like social communication, leadership, discipline, time management, emotional intelligence and control, and many others. In simple terms, hard skills are the skills that you learn in college to get a job, and soft skills are the skills that turn you into a Rizzler GigaChat. And yes, that was very hard to say without laughing. The reason I'm explaining all this is because school is the perfect environment for developing your soft skills. And because soft skills can be applied to every area of your life, school is the perfect time when you should and can focus on developing those skills. And that leads us to my first point. Social environment is the best thing about school, and you must leverage the social environment of school to develop your social skills. In other words, the best way to use school for self-improvement is to make friends, get experience with girls, and learning to communicate with people. And that is the main thing that you need to focus on while you are still in school. Unfortunately for me, I missed this critical part myself, because I had to learn English when I was in school. So I still to this day have to improve my social skills to at least get it to the normal level, so don't repeat my mistakes. I just said that hard skills are being studied in universities. Well, schools are universities for social skills, and good social skills and soft skills in general have a huge correlation with life satisfaction and how much money you make. So in short, if you want to make a lot of money and be happy in life, use school to develop your social skills. And so here is how you do that. School gives you a lot of ways to improve your social skills. The most simple way to do that is just focusing on finding friends. I think you know that already. Another way you can use is joining a club. I myself was in a robotics club in high school. The thing I can say about clubs is you need to actually participate in the activity. So like, you go there and you actually ask what you can do, you ask to explain things, you talk to people, show some initiative. Don't just go there and stand like an idiot, that will not help you. Don't be afraid to talk to people there. In fact, they will be very happy if you show some interest in their hobby. People are in clubs because they want to be there, they are interested in what is happening there, so they will be happy to explain to you how things work if you ask nicely. A very good way to improve pretty much everything at once, and this way is often overlooked, is by joining a sport team. Your school definitely has some sport team, and joining one brings you a lot of benefits. First of all, you know that sport kids are considered cool, so you improve your social status and it will make it easier to find friends and get girls. By joining a sport team, you also improve your social skills automatically because you have to interact with the team and other players and so on. And as a great bonus, you also improve your physique or at least get some cardio, which improves your health. If you want one single best way to leverage school for self-improvement, it's this one. Join a sport team. Even if you think it's not for you, like maybe you're not fit enough or you're not skilled enough or something's wrong with you, whatever you think, whatever you may think about, people will only start to respect you more for wanting to try. There is absolutely no harm in trying, so get some confidence and go sign up for some sport team. Another aspect people often overlook about school is that it is a great possibility to learn deep work, because you are constantly getting free practice. You are constantly getting school assignments that you need to finish, and the faster you finish them, the easier it is for you, and the better it is for you, the more time you have. And so learning to make those assignments efficiently is actually a very good skill for school itself, but it's also a great skill for life, because that skill is used pretty much everywhere in every area of your life, just like many other soft skills. For instance, when I was in high school and started doing self-improvement, I started to need a lot of time for that, so I need to free up some time in my day. And the way I did that is by learning to do the assignments very fast without losing quality. so working efficiently. That is exactly what deep work is, and school is one of the best ways to practice that. And one of the most important principles of deep work is focus. You need to be as focused as possible when you are doing the work. It means no distractions, no phone, no checking Facebook or whatever, no checking what your friend posted on Snapchat, no watching videos on TikTok, nothing of that. Only work for a dedicated period of time. The way I learned to do that is by setting a timer for 45 minutes. And if I want to do something else besides working those 45 minutes, I remind myself that my time to do this assignment is limited. I only have 45 minutes, so I must finish in those 45 minutes. And after that, I am free to do whatever I want. So in short, this is the main principle of deep work, and if you want me to make a dedicated video about it, when I teach you how to do it in details, with specific examples and clear steps, let me know in the comments. And if you want to learn more about it yourself, I recommend the great book simply called Deep Work by Cal Newport. I read this book myself and it's pretty good. By the way, speaking of books, while you are in school, you don't have to buy books at all because you have the access to school libraries. And school libraries, even though they can seem useless if you never used them before, are actually no joke. Even if they don't have the book that you need, they can either request it from another library or simply buy it for you if you ask them. This is a perfect opportunity to read any book you want to read completely for free, so don't miss on that. Though that is also true of your average public library, but we're talking about school here, so let's get back on topic. Alright, I promised you to talk about the biggest disadvantage of school and how it harms you. And that biggest disadvantage is, school doesn't teach you discipline while making you unable to be productive without it. It may sound counterintuitive, like what do you mean school doesn't teach you discipline? But actually yeah, it doesn't, because school forces you to participate. You suffer external consequences if you don't go to school, if you don't do the assignments, etc. Sometimes from your parents, and sometimes from the government itself, because sometimes the government enforces participation in school. That's why discipline isn't really required to go there. And because you're forced to participate and you suffer consequences when you don't, it makes you not want to do stuff when there are no consequences if you don't do that. So that means that school is making discipline essential while not teaching it to you. And that is the biggest disadvantage and the biggest harm that school is doing to you. One way to mitigate this effect is by developing discipline, and the way you do that is by forcing yourself to do things that you don't want to do. And yes, discipline is also a skill. It means you will get better and better at it over time. When I was just starting to develop discipline, I was forcing myself to do push-ups. Even if I didn't want to do this, even if I didn't feel like it, I was still forcing myself to do it every single time. And over time it became easier and easier, and it also made it easier to do stuff that is much harder than push-ups. My advice to you about developing this skill is, the hardest part is always to start. Once you did the first push-up, doing the rest becomes much easier. Now, do I even need to explain to you why discipline is so important? You aren't always motivated to do stuff in life. And even when you have zero motivation, still being able to do work is very important. That's why you must have discipline. This is a necessary skill for every area of your life. So yeah, to summarize this video, use school strategically and don't let it kill your discipline. And if you want me to talk about some specific topic in more details, like maybe how to find friends in school, or maybe how to get a girlfriend if your whole class hates you or something like this, then let me know in the comments. And then also don't forget to subscribe to not miss my new videos. Also, don't forget to check out our Discord server where you can talk to me personally and ask me any questions. And I see you in my next video.